cleaner solved MIT professor's math problem. He was born a top math genius, but chose to hide his talent. At the prestigious Massachusetts Institute of Technology MIT, a professor left a puzzle for his students. He wrote the problem on a blackboard in the hallway and wanted to see who could answer it before the end of the semester. It wasn't long before Jack, the school's cleaner, came up with the answer. Professor couldn't find out who had answered it, so he decided to create another puzzle. He left a puzzle that took him and his buddies 2 years to solve, and within 2 days, Jack had solved it. Professor didn't believe him at first. He thought he was scribbling, but he was shocked by Jack. Jack was a hidden genius. He only reads books occasionally in his spare time outside of work. Most of the time, he spends time with friends and fighting with others. By the time Professor found Jack, he was already involved in a lawsuit and was about to be sent to jail. Not wanting to bury his talent, Professor decided to apply for his release on bail as his guardian. But there were conditions. He had to cooperate with the professor in solving math problems and undergo psychotherapy. Jack had to agree, but being the genius he was very resistant to therapy. 5 therapists in a row got angry and left. In the end, the professor brought in his college friend Tom to treat him. In the first meeting, Jack saw Tom's state of mind by looking at one of his paintings. He thought Tom's marriage was in trouble. Tom was enraged. He warned Jack not to insult his dead wife. Jack was shocked. When he used to tease other psychiatrists, they'd first panic, then hide their anger. Then they refused to continue his treatment. But this doctor was different. He expressed his anger directly and agreed to continue his treatment. Tom realized Jack's logic. He actually hated his gift. He doesn't want people to accept him because he's a genius. He prefers people to approach him because they like his personality. Tom saw right through him and said what he thought. He thought Jack was just a kid who was afraid of his gift. For the first time, Jack felt that someone was being honest with him. His old methods of attacking people didn't work on Tom anymore. Eventually, he accepted Tom's therapy. It was a great test for him. He lapsed into silence for a long time. Tom was in no hurry. They sat her day in the room. Finally, Jack spoke up and the psychotherapy began. Their first topic was love. Jack had met a perfect girl from Harvard, but he was hesitant, thinking it shouldn't destroy her perfect life. With Tom's encouragement, Jack immediately found the courage to meet her. Their relationship has been going well ever since, and Jack and Tom have built up a deep trust. Meanwhile, Jack's career seemed to be about to reach a climax. Professor introduced him to a well-paid job. Everything seemed to be going well, but there was always a crisis. Jack was always worried that the girl didn't really love him. Then the girl graduated and went to Stanford to continue her studies. She wanted Jack to go there with him, but Jack refused. He was afraid that he was just her toy and would be abandoned by her one day. They had a big fight, and their love fell to a low point. His relationship with Professor and Tom also broke down, and it's back to square one. He works on construction sites with his best friends. He felt happy living like this every day. He hoped that in the future their children would also play together. But his friend told him that if they were still together when he was 50, he would kill Jack. This shocked Jack. His friend had always hoped that he would find a place to use his talents and do something more meaningful. He wanted Jack to be happy. He didn't want Jack to waste his talents in order to be with his best friends. Finally, under the supervision of his friend, Jack returned to the therapy room. Tom researched Jack's childhood and found that he had been severely abused. It wasn't his fault that he was the way he was. Jack's psychological defense completely broke down. He talked about his pain and threw himself on Tom's body and cried like a baby. His life changed forever. He began to make good use of his talent and with the help of his pals, set out to find his love. And that's the end of that story. This is a very touching movie. It deeply describes the reasons for Jack's psychotherapy and the process of people gradually accepting his inner heart. And the actors who played Jack and Tom won many Academy Awards for their acting. I recommend you seeing the original movie. This is the end of the movie sharing. If you like this video, you can subscribe to me.